Good morning, soldiers. It's June. It's June. The sun is sweltering. You could cook an egg on my kneecap and it would taste like Martha Stewart. Sweat is seeping down your crack, right into the tip of your tongue. Oh boy, we've got some fun. Did you go on any journeys yet? Have you started going on adventures with your friends? Oh boy. It's Mr. Keating's Night Show. Mr. Keating's Night Show. And here we are every night just to make sure you get a little bit of nourishment before you go to bed. Cabbage? Oh, we don't have that here. We don't have that yet. There's no subscriber perks. And there's no money. Oh, that's the sound of sweet summer silence. These animals, they keep coming after me. I've seen so many. Have I gotten sunburnt? The answer is no. No, I've been a good boy. Putting on my screen, wiping my cheeks every single day, making sure that special lotion gets all the way in. And it does good. This is a good thing. It does good for me. You know, do I have a couple more freckles? It's possible. I don't count them. I don't have them itemized, cataloged, notarized, named, and chipped. But you know what was chipped? I chased a dog today. There was a stray dog running in the streets, and there was cars coming and going. They were coming. It was a four-way intersection, and there was a little spotted black and white dog that was running up and down the street. And this dog had been seen before. People in the neighborhood knew it. Wasn't technically a stray, but their owners don't treat it very well. So you get it off its leash, and it's just running up and down the path. It's got nowhere to go. It used to be pretty aggressive to people, but now it seems just pretty calm. There was a man who was following it down the street in his car, and it got out at the left-hand corner of the intersection, and the dog started to make its way across the middle, but there was a car coming on two ends, so I stepped out in the middle of the street and I said, hold on, hold the phone. You let this dog pass. And then I sat down next to this little dog, and the guy crosses the street, and he tells me this dog's name is Mickey. Now, what kind of a name for a dog is Mickey? It was a black and white spotted dog, but Mickey's not black and white spotted. Mickey's been yellow for years. He's been yellow for years. But it didn't matter. This dog, it was friendly, it was quiet, it was calm, but it didn't like to be touched. I tried to touch the dog. I tried to pet it on its head, and it immediately bolted to the right, but then stopped just a couple feet away and sat back down. It was perfectly comfortable with me sitting next to it, with me looking at it. I sat with it. I was there probably for about 20-25 minutes. Didn't bark at me a single time. No siree. But we had to catch this dog, so the dude got back in his car, and I followed it up the street. I tried to chase it up a place, and someone comes out of their house and they say, I know that dog. I've seen that dog before. And he told me where it lived, and he told me who its owners were. And he told me what those owners do and what they did. They don't treat this dog very well. They keep it off its leash. When it is on a leash, they tug at its neck. They don't train it. They let it go out whenever it wants. They didn't even have a tag on his collar. He just had an empty little Velcro vest or Velcro collar around his neck with an empty metal ring on it. So there was no way you could know whose it was. It was chipped apparently. It had been in and out of the shelter a couple of times. So we caught up to it, and I cornered it, and the other man grabbed it by its collar, but very gently, with one finger, very soft, and the dog was uncomfortable for a couple of seconds, and then it just quieted down, and it seemed to enjoy the man. And then a lady in a red car with about 70 dog stickers passes up, and she says, I know this dog, and I can take it. I will take this dog to the shelter for you. And this lady had 3 other dogs in her car. I didn't get a good peek at all of them, but she had 3 other dogs in her car. And she had a plastic bag full of chicken giblets in her pocket. And this is how you knew she was a real dog lady, because who the fuck carries a Ziploc bag of chicken giblets in her pocket, okay? I mean, there's no shot that the Durwood drug lords are carrying around chicken giblets, okay? I think this was a reputable lady. I think she knew what she was doing. I think she was to be trusted. And she led the dog in her car and she drove it off. There's an animal shelter right down the street. She drove it off towards the animal shelter. And me and the others parted ways. This isn't the first time that I've seen that dog. It's not the first time the people in that neighborhood have seen that dog. The family doesn't treat it very well. So, one could only hope that they either change their ways, or that dog finds a different home. I don't know if either of those are quite likely, but what else can you do? I keep seeing more and more deer. I saw one the other day that was just born. I hear them bleeding out in the backyard. Oh, sorry for the mic spike. I just choked on myself. My God. Just like swallowed saliva down the wrong part. Not very pleasant. You could have a dog. I've never had a dog. And I've told him many times before, I didn't have very good experiences with dogs. You know, I got attacked all the time by these dogs. But only when I was young. Only when I was young would I get attacked by these dogs. Nowadays, I'm much more comfortable. And this dog was small. It was kind of like Snoopy if Snoopy had curly hair. I think Snoopy had a cousin with curly hair. I forget his name. He was a reoccurring character in the comics. He was kind of a hobo. I forget. But that's neither here nor there. You could have a dog, and a dog is a good thing. A dog is a good thing. A dog is a good thing because they love you. Because they do love you. A dog loves you. If it's a good dog, and if you're a good person, a dog loves you. Even if you're a bad person, and even if it's sort of a bad dog, a dog loves you. But I just got scared of them. They came up to me. I just had a couple of them that just didn't like the way I looked or I smelled delicious. I've been told this many times. I've had people bite me. And they say this is true. They say you're rather delicious today. But I don't season myself. Sunscreen doesn't taste very good, and maybe that's why dogs like me nowadays. Maybe that's why they don't bite, because I put on sunscreen. Maybe back when I didn't put on sunscreen, that was like the bitters that I was putting on my body. And nowadays, now that I put ointments and treatments and lotions and caviar, maybe I tasted better raw. With my patented Keating smell. I wonder what that is. I know what I smell like, but I don't know what I really smell like, you know? You get used to your own fragrance, so how could you know? Do you know what you smell like? Did that make you very comfortable? Very comfortable, much yes? Did you feel good sitting there in your bed? Oh, I bet you did. I bet you did. Darker and darker, later and later. If there's one thing I like about this time of year, not the weather, not the temperature, it's the evenings. Ooh, a summer evening is a thing. A summer evening is a very good thing. A summer evening is a great thing. It's sometimes said that summer evenings are where love starts, or summer nights are where love starts. And if it survives the winter, it could survive a whole lifetime, if you wanted it to. And this could be true. This could be true. It could just be conjecture, but it could be true. Some of you will have that. You'll meet someone. It could be spontaneous. It could be carefully orchestrated. You should watch people. Sometimes you'll see something spontaneous happen, and you could say that was a snap decision. And you could also say, ooh, Maverick is in the chat. Good morning, Maverick. I got bit by dogs. Not today. No, the dogs were nice today. The dogs were nice today. But we were talking about how I got bit by dogs, and I think I taste pretty good. I think I taste pretty good. I think that's why they like me so much, you know? It's probably why I'm popular with women, too, you know? I taste so good, delectable. Sweet as candy. As you might say. God damn. But ironically, the more you season me, the worse I taste. Ugh. Have you ever tasted sunscreen? Now, if you took all the brands of sunscreen, which would taste the best? What about the worst? If you were on an island and you had to choose one brand of sunscreen to eat for the rest of your life, what would you choose? Do you take into account the nutritional value? I mean, it's got some manganese, some zinc. It's got some fuel. Not much. Not very many, no, that's for sure. What about that spray sunscreen? It's kind of like that spray candy. I gotta move this chat box. It's covering my face. I'm thinking the lotion kinds. But what about the viscosity? Do you want a soupier sunscreen, or do you want to try a bit of a thicker sunscreen? I think the worst tasting sunscreen I've ever had, and don't ask me why I was tasting this, it's because I would bite my nails after applying sunscreen, so I knew what it tasted like. There was a sunscreen that doubled as bug spray. It had these little cubes or little crystals in them, and they would supposedly repel bugs. It's because they would dissolve. Kind of like that soap that has those little orbs or the bubbles in them, and they're supposed to like pop and exfoliate your skin or something. I don't know. Those tasted like fucking ketamine. And you might be asking yourself, how do you know what ketamine tastes like? Because I tried that too. Doesn't taste very good. No. No, sir. You can't be mixing your drugs with your hugs, if you know what I'm saying. And what that really means is, a little is good, a lot is not. See, this is what my father taught me about cocaine. A little is good, a lot is not. And this also ties back to kindergarten. You see, whenever we used to do arts and crafts projects, you get the little piece of paper, a fucking glue stick, the little Elmer's glue tube, and of course you know this. And of course you know this. Kids love Elmer's glue. Not because it tastes good, it's not the best tasting glue that you could find, but it sure does make that fun little film on your skin, and who doesn't love that fun little film on your skin? What a simple and merry joy to have a film of glue skin on your hand. You pour the glue, you rub it in like soap, and you peel it, but there was a trick to this, because you can't put too much on. No? You have to put just the right amount. Put too little, it peels off and scrapes like it's a sunburn. Put too much, and it just becomes wet. Doesn't form a layer. But you put on just the right amount. It's like you're shedding a layer of skin. It even adheres to the consistency of your hand. And it keeps the integrity of your hand and fingerprints intact. The skilled ones, if they put on the perfect amount and they weren't sweating too much, could peel it off and have a whole hand cast, like a little skin glove. Oh, ho, ho, how the boys would prank the girls by making little skin casts and then putting it in their bag. Oh, what jovial days. So, back to cocaine, and what this had to do with cocaine. I believe it was just a dot, not a lot. That's what my teacher always told me about using glue. Just a dot, not a lot. And of course, kids never listen because you needed a little more than a dot if you wanted to make the hand film. But for projects, you would need to glue something, just a little paste. Don't let it go to waste. And this is equally true for cocaine. Just a little cocaine, or you'll feel the pain. You see, that's what my father taught me about hard drugs. And ketamine is no different. I will tell you this. This is true, and they don't want you to know this. They don't want you to know this about ketamine. Ketamine, it is not very delicious. It is not very delicious. So just a dot. Remember, kids. Just remember that. You don't forget that, okay? Don't you forget that. Don't you ever forget that. Don't you ever forget that, okay? I gave that to you as a gift. Don't you ever forget that for me, okay? We discussed this a few nights ago, but the fireflies, they're finally back. I saw the first one last Thursday on a walk before one of my streams. And this time I went to the park, not expecting them to be out for a few more weeks, but there was a cluster of about 2 to 3 trees sitting in the middle of the park, not the usual spot that I go to next to the highway, with the 3 acres of 40-foot trees. No, this was a smaller tree, but it was lit up like Christmas, just like I had hoped for. And not quite at the time I had expected. It always seems to be how it goes. Not as romantic, but certainly just as special. I'll have to take a date there once they start coming out in full force. For trees like those, there needs to be a lot more, but for a small cluster of trees, it'll be fine. It created a bit of an illusion. It was actually a trail of trees that, from a distance when viewed, looked like a cluster of about 2 or 3 trees, but in actuality it was about 6 or 7 of them, maybe even 8, forming a sort of arch. It's a wonderful place to walk in during the day, but it's equally as pretty during the nighttime. We created the illusion of distance within some of them. Some of the sparkles were further away and some of them were closer. It was very wonderful, like a well-lit Christmas tree. You know, Christmas is just around the corner, and you're going to have to start thinking about what to get your friends, your family, and your lovers for Christmas. And take it from me. Glue is a good gift, and you may be wondering to yourself, didn't you just finish a comparison between glue and ketamine? Why don't I just get them the drugs? Well, here's the thing. It's very distasteful to give someone drugs for Christmas, okay? Halloween? Knock yourself out. But Christmas? It's a sacred holiday. Christmas is a trial. You have to prove to your friends and family that you understand them, that you listen to them, that you took care of their thoughts and opinions throughout the year to know well enough what at that time in their life, at that phase, what might they want. And yes, many people do want cocaine. And this is true. You will know this. You will figure as you go out into the world, you will see that more people than you think do cocaine. A lot of people do cocaine. People you wouldn't expect do cocaine. You think, oh, she's just an innocent English major. She's doing 8 balls on the weekends. And you might think to yourself, oh, that's just a doctor. What would a doctor do? What would a doctor do with something that is very unhealthy for you? I'll tell you, snort it. They're all doing cocaine. What was I talking about? Ah, yes, the glue for Christmas. You have to get your loved one some glue for Christmas. Now, what type of glue do they like? I really can't say. Some people like the stick kind. I admit it smells pretty good. Some people like the paste, and yes, the paste is good, but sometimes they've changed the formula in recent years. So you have to find the right one. Some people like glitter glue. Some people like the clear stuff, the white stuff, the pink stuff, the orange stuff. You got to figure out what's right for each person, okay? You know, Christmas, as I always like to say, Christmas is a lot like ketamine. If you do it with people, if you're with the ones you love, it's a wonderful experience. If you do it by yourself, you're going to wake up drunk and alone in an alley. And this is really what I like to say. This is really what I think about Christmas. You know, this is true, and this is true about Christmas. It's the most wonderful time of the year. This is true. But it's also a great test. Long gone are the days that you could simply sit and wait for your parents to prepare a good Christmas for you. Any good upbringing should be teaching you not just the wonders and joys of Christmas, but the preparation. The gathering, the festivals, the food, the cooking, the tradition. The warmth, the snow, the glow. Any good tradition that doesn't teach you how to upkeep it is no good tradition at all. What has Christmas become? What is Christmas to you? If it means nothing, you could let it go. Are you a Jewish? Do you like a Hanukkah? You could celebrate Hanukkah. I love Hanukkah. You could celebrate Hanukkah. This is okay. Are you a Kwanzaa? No, you're not. Because Kwanzaa doesn't exist. Kwanzaa isn't real. It never has. But if you celebrate Christmas like me, what are you doing about it? Are you shopping this far in advance? Christmas is just around the corner. It's just around the corner. Have I ordered any Christmas presents? No. Not a single one. Not a single one. But you see, I like to play it dangerously close. I like to go Christmas shopping when it's the hardest. Because why wouldn't you want a challenge on Christmas? Tell me, have you ever seen a Christmas movie where the guy orders presents 6 months in advance, books the right reservation, clears all of his family issues, and works out his interpersonal problems with both the people he's closest with and the step relatives and in-laws whom he perhaps has a bit of a distaste for, all ahead of time? Have you ever seen a Christmas movie where someone was smart, thoughtful, and planned ahead? No. All of the best Christmas movies include someone who was adult, thoughtless at first, but then turned around and made it the best Christmas ever. And see, that's the arc I have to go through every single year. I have to learn a lesson, and then I have to completely throw it out the window 3 weeks later so I can become a thoughtless, barbarous whore. And then I can go through the process all over again. My boorish mannerisms will no doubt annoy my family. But my thoughtful reconciliation will warm their hearts all over again. It's like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. That shit never gets old. It never gets old. So make sure you plan your Christmas gifts. Make sure you tie up that holly tight. This has been the Mr. Keating Show. Good night. Subscribe to the Mr. Keating.